Hello everyone and welcome to yet another Q30 Sports Update brought to you by the Bobcat Shop. I'm Jon Alba and today we're going to talk a little bit Quinnipiac hockey. The Frozen Four bound Quinnipiac Bobcats, that is. I'm joined today by Colin, Babcock, and Mark Spillane. And gentlemen, initial reactions to the Frozen Four appearance for this Quinnipiac squad.
Well, my first reaction, it's absolutely incredible for Quinnipiac to make it this far. They've never done this before in program history. They joined UMass Lowell, a team that's never done this in program history, as well as St. Cloud State. Yale hasn't done it in 60 years, so for Quinnipiac to overcome all the odds and get to this point is really something special for the NCAA and the Frozen Four.
Yeah, my initial reaction, I can't wait for it to begin. You know, the campus is buzzing. People want rides to Pittsburgh to go see it, go support their Bobcats, and it's great, you know, for the Bobcats because Yale's in it. That's two ECAC teams. It says a lot about this conference and maybe how they've grown over the years and maybe can grow some more respect.
Quinnipiac taking on St. Cloud State. The Yale Bulldogs instead have their hands full with UMass Lowell. So you mentioned the two ECAC teams. How important is it, not just for Quinnipiac or Yale, but the conference as a whole, to send those two teams to the Frozen Four?
It's very important. All season long, there are just a bunch of naysayers doubting Quinnipiac's ability. So they put them up against Miami of Ohio or Minnesota, who was the #1 seed for a long time, that they wouldn't fare well against them. But now this is great. Yale knocked off Minnesota and then did it against North Dakota. They earned some respect. It's great for the ECAC. They're going to be looked at a little bit more seriously in years to come.
And I think that Yale actually did more work for the ECAC than the Bobcats did. They were the ones who were able to beat Minnesota in overtime. They were the ones who dominated North Dakota. Quinnipiac, on the other hand, took care of Canisius and took care of Union. But Yale really showed everyone in the nation that even at the weaker end of the conference teams that made it from the ECAC, that they can come out and they can dominate against top-notch talent in the entire nation.
So I mentioned that field of four game between Quinnipiac and St. Cloud State. St. Cloud State, they didn't exactly have an easy road to get to the Frozen Four, and they were impressive. Hobie Baker candidate Drew LeBlanc for them. I mean, you're going to have two Hobie Baker candidates in this game alone, Eric Hartzell and LeBlanc. What are you expecting out of this contest? I'll start with Mark.
Well, you mentioned Drew LeBlanc leads the nation with 37 assists. Hobie Baker candidate, but he's not the only one. Johnny Brodzinski also has 22 goals leading his team. And, you know, St. Cloud State, they're a team that's a little bit opposite of Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac, top defense in the nation with about a 1.6 goals against average. St. Cloud State, on the other hand, scores about 3.6 goals per game for second in the nation. It's going to be a battle of offense and defense. We'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, John, what you mentioned, that they really did have they had a tough road getting here with the #1 seed Notre Dame in that bracket, and they really took care of them. And then they went on to Miami, Ohio, which they received some first place votes throughout the season, and they took care of business there. So now they face Quinnipiac in the semifinal game, and Quinnipiac didn't look sharp against kind of weaker Atlantic team and Canisius. So they've really got to bear down and win this game, and they can't just ride the back of Matthew Pekka and Eric Hartzell every game.
Well, how important is the play of Matthew Pekka going forth here?
It's great. You know, when he scores 3 goals a game, I believe the Union coach said that he really won them that game for him. So when you score 3 goals, not a lot of other teams are going to score 4 goals on Hobie Baker finalist Eric Hartzell. So if he plays like that, of course they're going to win games, but you can't count on him, that performance.
Mark, do you have a different wild card for the Bobcats going forth?
Well, I think it stems off of Matthew Pekka drawing so much attention. They're going to have to focus on him if they want to have any chance of stopping the Bobcats. But in doing that, it's going to open things up for Connor Jones, Kellen Jones, and they're probably going to forget about those other lines. Guys like Jordan Samuels-Thomas actually leads the Bobcats in goals this season. Can't forget about him. Jeremy Langlois right on the cusp of 100 points for his career. You know, he's going to be flying out there looking to add to that total.
Yeah, he made the third team for ECAC, 13 forwards. So he's been great.
A lot of talented players in this Frozen Four. Again, you got 2 #1 seeds and 2 #4 seeds, and I don't think a whole lot of people expected that right off the bat when they saw their brackets. So let's get down to this, gentlemen. What are your expectations coming out of Pittsburgh?
Well, I have to be honest with you. I'm not exactly sure what Coach Pecknold said to his team when the Bobcats were trailing Canisius 3-1, but whatever he said, it worked. They scored 3 straight goals in that game, took the victory, and then they came out flying. Matthew Pekka, as you said, Coach Rick Bennett for Union, basically said that Pekka won that game and Union really didn't have a chance to come back, and he's absolutely right. The Quinnipiac Bobcats have looked like a different team since that point in time. I don't see any reason why it stops now.
You know, it's unusual, John, that you say that there are 2 4 seeds, because one of the main 4 seeds that a lot of people predicted was Wisconsin, but they were knocked out in the first round. They were really a popular pick to go on. But it'll be good. 1-4 matchup. In hockey, it's kind of different because the goalie can steal the game. It's not just, you know, like basketball, for instance, where the stars who just make baskets win. This is hockey. You got to score to win, and if you don't, you're going to be going home.
So looking at the possibility of a Quinnipiac-Yale national championship game, do either of you see that happening?
I see a little bit of potential because the way Yale's been playing recently, they took it to Minnesota and then North Dakota, and that was great. But UMass Lowell is a really hot team. Winning the Hockey East, any team that wins the Hockey East deserves to be in almost that Final Four, or the Frozen Four in that tournament. So they'll be a tough team to get by.
There's potential for it because Yale believes in Kenny Agostino and Antoine Lagunière. Their best players are playing well. And it's always said that if you're going to win playoff hockey games at any level, your best players have to play well. So that's the reason why there's a chance. But Connor Hellebuck for UMass Lowell in net leads the nation in save percentage, just ahead of Eric Hartzell, also tied for the lead in the nation in shutouts with Carson Schuback from Niagara. He is on absolute fire right now. Only a freshman. I believe his record is something like 22-2 this year. He really doesn't lose. So I don't really think that Yale's going to be able to overcome the difficulty of trying to get a puck past him, but I'm sure they'll give him a good game.
Are the Bobcats going to find themselves in their first ever national championship game?
I'm going to predict that they will not be. And here's the reason why. You're going to Pittsburgh. It's a long travel. Could be plenty of bus legs going in there. A lot of hype with St. Cloud State. They're a good team from the WCHA. They could really run into some trouble with another Hobie Baker Award finalist in that game. So they could really find themselves in trouble against St. Cloud State if they don't score.
What about you, Mark?
I'd be absolutely shocked if Quinnipiac didn't come out flying next Thursday night against St. Cloud State. I don't think the Huskies are quite ready for the way the Bobcats are playing right now. After they beat Cornell 10-0 in Game 2 of the ECAC quarterfinals, I thought I'd never see them play that well again. Well, they really proved me wrong. When they came out in the first period against Union, they blew that Cornell game out of the water. That is the best this Quinnipiac team has ever played. If they play like that again, and I expect them to, you will see them playing in their first national championship game next Saturday night.
Well,
go ahead.
Hold on a second, John.
Yeah.
Something you got to remember is the nerves and the big picture of this game. You're playing on national television. It's being broadcasted by ESPN. When you start skating out there, you're starting to feel good, but then it's like your legs get heavy and the nerves start to set in, and you're going to start thinking. You're going to start making shortcuts. When you beat a team like Cornell 10-0, you start creating shortcuts, and that's just going to go downhill for your team.
Well, there's 11 seniors on this team, and they know the time is now. They don't have time to wait. They're graduating after these 2 games. This is it for them. They're not going to come out nervous. They're going to settle their team down. Matthew Peck and other leaders like Connor and Kellen Jones, who wear the A's on the team, the assistant captains, are going to settle the team down. They know that this is their time. They don't really have any other time to wait. And combine that with the fact that if they were going to get nervous, they'd already have been nervous in these other games. They've shown the ability to hold their poise and stay calm in big situations. Quinnipiac's going to the national championship game.
You don't think they're a little bit nervous in the Canisius game?
Didn't look like it to me. Came out, scored 3 straight goals. Were able to get the win.
How about how they went down 3-1 early on?
Sometimes you overlook a team, but John Butchergross said it himself on the broadcast, sometimes championship teams have to overcome a great deficit. That was the deficit the Bobcats needed to overcome. They did it. They're going to the national championship.
That's a valid point there, Mark. So you're the only one here picking Quinnipiac in the national championship game. Is this a championship caliber team?
This is a championship caliber team. That does not mean I think they're going to win. To be honest with you, this is about as hard of a decision I think I've ever had to make in terms of picking a game. Trying to go against UMass Lowell and Connor Hellebuck is really difficult to do, but at the same time, Eric Hartzell all year long has been phenomenal. The save he made in the first period against Max Novak for Union the other day was absolutely ridiculous. If he puts that puck in the net and ties the game up, you could have a totally different outcome against Union, but he's able to shut the door, take down the breakaway. So if Quinnipiac, like I said, if they play the way they did against Union in the first period, they're going to be bringing that trophy back home here to Hamden.
One thing, John, I think if they do beat St. Cloud State on April 11th, that Thursday, I think they do win the national championship. They'll carry that momentum into it no matter who they face, whether it be UMass Lowell or whether it be Yale. I think they do, and actually they had a really good record against Yale this year, 3-0, so that they will win the national championship if they get by St. Cloud State. That'll be the real tough game.
Quinnipiac, small school in Hamden, Connecticut, finds themselves among the final 4 left standing in the nation. For more information on Q30 Sports, follow us on Twitter at Q30 Sports and check us out on YouTube as well at youtube.com/Q30. youtube.com/user/Q30TV. And also, as always, check out www.q30.org. For Mark Spillane, for Colin Babcock, I'm Jon Alba. We'll see you next time.